It's Daniel from UK Foot Reviews, and I have a really interesting comparison between the Hypervenom Phantom 3 and the previous model before that, the Hypervenom Phantom 2. Now what you're going to find is that these boots were worn by very similar players, however their tech specs are completely different, which I will get onto during the course of this video. So let's go straight onto the Hypervenom Phantom 2. What you found was the first Hypervenom to feature the dynamic fit collar, which was integrated with the upper itself. The upper was not necessarily the softest, but of course was incredibly durable. Now, of course, the Hypervenom Phantom 1s had the problem with durability, so I believe the more durable upper was probably needed in order to get more sales, and also featured this same sole plate, which was a great sole plate due to the fact that it gave you a great amount of manoeuvrability, and I believe the Hypervenom stood for manoeuvrability itself, not necessarily speed. And then going on to the Hypervenom Phantom 3, it is a completely new boot with featuring a fly knit all over, not just a dynamic fit collar, which is also integrated perfectly with the upper. Now that is one reason which I actually love this boot for, because of that one piece upper, and of course features the lacing system which is integrated with the upper itself. And the new sole plate is really good because it's not as narrow during the mid foot area, that's what I would call it, and featured a diversity of studs. So you had hexagonal, aggressive, and of course studs going across the boot itself. And in terms of their successful releases, the Hypervenom Phantom 2 was probably one of the worst releases Nike's put out for a while, just due to the fact that it didn't live up to the standards of the Hypervenom Phantom 1, so not necessarily the best thing to compare to Hypervenom Phantom 1 due to the fact that it was so successful. Whereas Hypervenom Phantom 3, just due to the fly knit and the new innovations, it's really proved to be a great selling boot. I'm not a big fan of the new pads that they've introduced. I believe it's pretty unnecessary. I'd like to see what it was like without pads, because I believe you would have a much better sensation on the ball. But of course, Nike has to bring new features in order to gain a new audience, which of course brings more sales. And of course, without innovation, they don't necessarily bring more sales, just like Adidas bringing a lacer system on their boots due to the fact that the public not necessarily wanted it, but of course brought more people into their brand. So in terms of which boot I would have to pick, the Phantom 3 is definitely my pick out of the two. I know you can get the twos for a cheaper price at the moment, actually incredibly cheap. I think you can pick one up on eBay used for about £40–50 for a top of the range boot, which is incredibly cheap. But the Hypervenom Phantom 3 will just give you that little bit more comfort, that initial feel on the ball, and of course that initial braking will be a much shorter period of time, and they do feel great once you put your foot in them straight away. Straight out of the box, they do feel unbelievable. And the fly knit, it will just stretch like very much like the Hypervenom Phantom 1. It had a synthetic that used to stretch really well and mold to your feet perfectly, and the fly knit will of course do that. Now, in terms of which one I would generally go for in terms of playing, it would have to be the Hypervenom Phantom 3 again, and in terms of the purchase price, it would be the Hypervenom Phantom 3 again, because the Hypervenom Phantom 2 was not necessarily a successful boot, and I believe is, as I said before, one of the worst releases that Nike brought out. But I must say this particular colourway was a great one to come out with. It was a wolf grey colourway and featured those specks of orange, which I really did enjoy. Definitely a better colourway compared to the Hypervenom Phantom 3, most certainly. And that's probably the only reason why I would buy these, because these are the original Hypervenom Phantom 2s. So I've got a collection of Hypervenom Phantoms, as you probably realise on my channel, and I'm just keeping the ones that I really like. So that really brings me to the end of this video, guys. If you could like, that'd be greatly appreciated. I'd like to hear your comments on which one you would pick, and if you want more content like this, please subscribe. Alright, take care, guys.